Nobody is saying don't make profit. Profit is necessary. The most important thing in the world is money. Yes, everybody needs it, but when you chase it at the expense of another, I think you take away the enjoying the moment. So be you, and make sure that whatever you do, you're not, you know, hurting somebody else.
Welcome back to another installment of the Next Gen Case Study AI series. In this episode, we have on Ademola Amoo, who serves as the sales director at Cellcom Communications. He has over 6 years of experience in sales and marketing and leads a team of who is responsible for generating new business opportunities and maximizing revenue from existing clients. His expertise includes driving sales growth, problem solving, and providing tailored solutions to ensure customer satisfaction. And we're excited to have him on the show today to talk about a few different topics. But before we jump into it, Ademolo, I'd love to get from your perspective a quick little Cole's Notes version of who you are, where you came from, and how you ended up here as a sales director at Cellcom.
So my name's Ademola Amoo. I used to play soccer, funny enough. I used to play semi-professional soccer, and I got injured is how I got into sales. So I think I am originally from Lagos, Nigeria, and I, for some reason, always find myself to travel all over the world. So I call myself a global citizen, just like any other person. And I found myself in Canada 10 years ago. So I used to live out in Toronto. That's where I played soccer. And I landed this job the year that I got injured, where I couldn't play soccer anymore, obviously. So it was during COVID, and they were short-staffed in Ottawa, which is currently where I am right now. And I was transferred to Ottawa to, take on a new role, new life, new experience, and here I am.
Wow, that's quite the story. How long you played soccer for quite a while then to be able to come here on?
Yes, so I played college level. I played outside of college. I played in France in the Division Six, Ponte-Maxon. I played couple years, and I actually played in the Ontario League One, Toronto Skills to be precise. So yeah, it's been a fun journey.
You have a natural charisma about you. Do you think that lends to your, I guess, natural talents when it comes to sales?
You could say that, and when it comes to sales, I used to manage my mom's business back home. Funny enough, as a hobby, it wasn't something that I took seriously. It was just she would, be busy doing other stuff, and she'd be like, "Can you help me out?" And I'll just jump in, do some bookkeeping, do some ads, talk to people, close sales, and I found that I was generating profit. So you could say yes, natural charisma, but it would be more that I helped my family in that line. So it gave me a little understanding of what sales was, but I never knew that I would do sales. To be frank with you.
Yeah, it's always for a lot of people I talk to, it seems like it's an accidental role that it just kind of comes to you as opposed to you looking for it. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
In terms of the education that you have, I imagine a lot of what you've gone through is just experiential and kind of you're a self-taught kind of guy.
Yeah, you could say that. So I have my Bachelor of Art in sociology, major sociology, minor English. So nothing related to sales, but like you said, like there's a natural inclination to just like every day I get conversation activity, and it's like I find that sales is basically a conversation. I'm trying to find out your needs. You're trying to get to know me. I break the trust, or I don't break the trust. I find out your objections, and we take it from there.
So tell me a little bit about your kind of day-to-day role then, as far as the your position at Cellcom. I imagine you're managing a team and you're not necessarily on the front lines anymore. Is that true?
Exactly. Yeah. So basically, I start my day at 9. I I go into work, and I have to verify invoices from the previous day. I have to make sure the schedule's good. Make sure that everything's ready for my team to come in and hit the goal.
So inside of managing that team, I'm sure you're presented with a number of different challenges, one of which managing, your leads and your clients and the customers that you're dealing with. What do you use to help kind of simplify that, or what kind of strategies do you deploy to make your team to help your team do what they do best?
So basically, I'm somebody who leads by experience, and I think I got that from playing soccer. It's like when you um, play with a bunch of guys, you learn a lot of traits. You learn to listen, you learn to understand, you learn to communicate verbally and non-verbally. So one thing that I do, or one thing that I tell my team is always make sure that you introduce yourself and make whoever that you're speaking to comfortable. And, I do a lot of role plays with them. That way we can break the ice. We can see where they're lacking in terms of their emotional intelligence or their adaptive skills or their listening skills. So basically, we do those role plays to see how, it's easy when you're actually on the forefront, right? To make things easier for whoever you're dealing with and yourself. You don't want to complicate issues by making someone uncomfortable or not welcoming them the proper way.
So when it comes to like dealing with the clients on those front lines, being that you're not exclusive to one specific telecommunications company. I'm assuming, can work with a variety of them. So there's a opportunity there for you to really work for the client. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, basically, so I'm somebody who I like to give back, and that's one of the things that got me, I guess, very much excited about the role that I currently work in. Is when clients come in, everybody always has a certain type of issue. So, I work with small business clients, I work with corporate clients, I work with consumer clients. So it's always based on the needs of those clients, right? Nobody ever comes in and just, wants to, yes, we do get senior citizens who come in to chit chat from time to time, but everybody who, any other person who comes in, it's for a reason. So we find out what that reason is, and that way we can tailor suit the need or the solution.
Right, I see. Okay, so it's a lot of what you are kind of helping your team with is like the problem solving elements of this, troubleshooting, helping them communicate properly.
So basically, that would be, I would say that would be 40% of my job is, escalating, de-escalating, problem solving. But I guess majority of my job would be making sure that the ratios, the metrics, the hiring, the training, building up confidence and making sure that there's enough team bonding to keep the momentum going.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So when it comes to the application of technology in the systems and processes that you are following, right? You're helping your team create or develop their skills while also managing the clients. Is there any specific tools or software or things like that that you're using to kind of help with the various elements of that, the training, maybe the CRM, maybe your marketing stuff, or are you kind of just doing everything more on a referral basis or from a brick and mortar standpoint?
Oh, that's a good question. So the company that I work for, we definitely work with a lot of state of the art technology. So there is a lot of CRMs and SAPs in place for us to utilize. So basically, again, I sit every day in training back to back with my regionals and management team to see how we can make the job easier. So I get that information and then I pass it down to my team. So we have a lot of stuff already inbuilt in the system that we work with
Mhm.
that I just train my team on and they execute.
And okay, so then there's stuff that kind of corporate or like the big guns upstairs are implementing. I'd love to explore what some of the challenges are with that software or with what you guys are doing, as well as like where is it hitting the mark? What do you like most about what you're working with?
So obviously it's based on every single opportunity or day. There's days where or I find there's periods where it's high traffic and there's a lot of users on the systems that we use, and you know we have we have an amazing IT team in place that we can quickly call on, and I tell them what the issue is, and they can run a quick diagnosis or diagnostic on the back end, and they can figure out what's going on. But I find that with me, it makes it very seamless to run my days, right? For example, we use Agendrix, which is a work scheduling um, CRM, if you want to call it that, and it makes it easy for me to go in there. I have my representatives put in their vacation time, or if they have notes that they need to put in so they can understand what their client needs are, if they need to pass a message to me, and it makes it easy to that's one example, but that makes it easy to work with that as opposed to the older system where you have to punch in a wall or punch out on a card or do a certain type of clock in, clock out, all of that stuff. It's just very seamless for us.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to have come from an era where that was true, where I literally had to punch a card, and if you
Yeah.
didn't stamp it right, that you had to go and deal with HR and all this other stuff. So it was very clunky. It's cool to see now the implementation of some of these technologies. And I guess being that you've been around for six or more years, that I think that was what it said in the bio.
Yeah.
You've probably seen a lot in that time as far as like the shifts that happened. What are some notable events that pop in mind when you think back and reflect on some of the things that you've gone through?
Yeah, definitely. With Telegram's one of them. Back in the day, we used Trello, right? I remember. I don't know if you know what that application Trello. So Trello basically has a bunch of highlighted colors that tell you what activity is going on right now, what tasks you need to do, what the deadlines are. But now we have Telegram, and on Telegram you could do everything. You can send a voice message, you can send a video message, you can have a team meetings on Telegram, right? And there's Microsoft Teams, right, that allows you to view the calendar for the entire month, entire year, whatever it is you want to do. So we've basically gone from analog to full digital. Like, I don't need to take my phone to call 700 people to just, get them together. It's so seamless. Like I just set a reminder. I tell my phone, I tell Siri, hey, send this message at a certain time, and it does it. So honestly, it's amazing the things you can do with technology now in relation to business and sales.
Well, and it's a never-ending evolution, right? It's something that we're um, constantly working at improving, updating, changing, evolving. And now we're faced with even more uh, opportunity. I'm hoping it's opportunity. I'm going to paint it like it's opportunity, but this with the connection to everything now with AI, having large language models to help with creating writing and copywriting and things like that, or generative AI where we can create images and videos and things like that from it. And then there's automations in terms of how we are reaching out to our customers and staying in touch and keeping top of mind. And, especially when it comes to marketing and things like that. Are you guys dabbling in some of that newer technology, or are you guys playing it safe and kind of keeping an arm's length away?
So I would say right now, we're keeping it safe because, it's amazing the things the new technology, AI, for example, with generative writing and learning modules can do. I personally have been taking some courses just to, get myself with the times. But currently at the company that I work, we're trying to take it slow, make sure that everyone keeps their job because, we know AI is coming out to make it kind of makes it look like it's going to make life simple, but I find that, and I know you've seen online, a lot of people are saying, I would rather I'm the one doing that job and AI is doing my ironing or cleaning my washroom, laying my bed. I still want to function as a human being. As a human being, that's what my brain was created for. That's what I'm created for. So I would like to function as I was created and not have this thing come, take it away from me. So we're keeping it safe. But I say that, and I tell my team, I say, you do everything you can. Every day you learn something, right? So if the times are changing, get with the times, and hopefully it works out, the right way for everybody.
Yeah, that's a very common theme that I'm hearing in a lot of the conversations that I'm having with people is that, we still as human beings want to do something useful. We want to be productive. We want to be a part of a thing. And in spite of the fact that we still kind of complain sometimes about the job or the hours or what it is. So I wonder what is the happy balance? Do you see that happy balance in your industry at any point coming to fruition, or is this something that's kind of like a fad?
So that's a very, very important question because when I speak to clients about this, they personally tell me, I don't want to come in and speak to a wall or a machine. I one thing that I noticed and experienced with the sector I'm in is when an experience is personalized, it goes a long way. And a lot of people say that we come in because I can connect with you, I can see you, you're visible to me, I can shake your hand, we can have a full blown conversation. Now I don't know if I can do that with a machine. So it
Right.
kind of makes it difficult to you know maybe it'll be easier to close sales because there's no emotion right involved. It's like you want this, I get you that, get out the door. But what what the difference now is these are human beings like me. So when they come in, I can relate faster with them, and I guess that's the fear. It's like, are we able to transition the same way with this learning module, right? So
Right. And I don't know how you feel about this, but do you think that COVID played a role in kind of shifting our perspective on that? Because before, I remember like leading up to 2019, everybody was like super excited about automating things like repetitive, mundane tasks. And then all of a sudden, we weren't allowed to like hang out with our friends. And it has just become that enough of a jump in importance to us culturally as human beings to be like, actually, I'd rather speak to a human being where before it was like, oh, I don't want to get on the phone and talk to somebody. That's weird. Do you see that?
so so COVID had a huge role to play, but I find that especially with senior citizens, you could say the Gen Z, if you want to call it that, they're more in tune with what's happening now. But like the millennials, the older generation, I remember during COVID, I used to work from home and I spoke 3 hours with a senior citizen over the phone. I closed the sale, but I spoke 3 hours. I remember my manager calling me after that call saying, what the heck were you talking to this person about for 3 hours? I'm like, I'm sorry. She's being isolated for almost 5 months. Her kids can't visit her. She's just been there. She was so happy to have that conversation with me. And I'm like, that's what we need. That's what we are. We're human beings. We're social beings. We're not created to, like whatever it is that we have, whatever knowledge we have, we use that knowledge to be more sociable, not to separate. And it looks like AI and maybe COVID did, play a very, very vital role in separating us and making us believe that, what, maybe we don't need to socialize that much.
Right. I think your instinct is spot on in that desire for the need for that social connectivity. There's so much there, and that's probably your doctorate in social studies that's coming up to haunt you. But as a I don't know, just as a fellow traveler of that road, I'm a bit of a nerd in terms of psychology and things like that, and I'm the kind of guy that'll load up lectures from colleges that teachers have put up that are like 20 years old, and I just want to get that perspective because I think understanding the way people interact really helps us do our job in connecting them with the right solutions. Because here's the problem, right? We're all faced with this problem is we need to we need things to help us do our jobs better or live our lives, like having a cell phone and being in connection and being able to communicate with people is super
Yeah,
important. But
yeah,
it's also really, really complicated. It's hard to like set it up and do the SIM card thing and then connect it with the network. And I know that your job, there's so much stuff that the general public just doesn't know. So there's a necessity for a human being to help facilitate that. And I don't know what the future holds as far as our role in a lot of these things. What do you see coming down the pipeline, that you're kind of excited about in the future as far as technology and in marketing and sales specifically?
So basically, there are sectors where we need technology like that. Logistics, maybe even caretaking. I don't know if that's the word, like caretakers, I guess, people who support the elderly, those sort of roles, blue collar label jobs. Yes, we need that technology. I think what we need to stop doing is projecting what we want it to look like and focus on the now. Because if we can do that, what happens is now we give everybody a choice. So we have the technology, and then you can either use that technology or you can choose to still remain in whatever sector, whatever job, whatever role you do. We shouldn't have that technology come take over, because that would be a disaster. Everyone should have a choice. We should have that freedom of equality, that that technology that we have should be to my benefit, and maybe vice versa. Like, I should be able to use that technology in the right way and train it to do the right things and not go against me. So
Oh, you're touching on something that I think has been overlooked in a lot of the conversations that I've had, which is uh, consent to participate. That's something that not a lot of businesses are understanding, is that, hey, listen, we can create these technologically advanced tools and options for you if it's something that you want. And I don't think I'm a huge proponent to the idea of saying yes more to ideas, trying them out, but being able to be decisive about it, and being quick to make those decisions. So when you implement something new, give it a
yeah,
shot, get the consent from your consumer, and then if it works, awesome. But if it doesn't, be quick to pull the trigger on cutting it off and trying something else, and
yeah,
getting into a cycle of experimentation, that but responsible experimentation. What do you think
yeah.
about that?
And that's the point that I'm getting to. Even when you look at science as an example, everything's based on experiment, right? So it's always trial and errors, and let's see if it works. And if it works, if it sticks, then we create a bigger, I don't know, module or bigger experiment around it. You don't enforce it. You can't take hydrogen and oxygen and mix it together and say, this is what I want. No, it's going to yield or produce a certain result. And whatever that result is, it's mostly not desirable. And you recreate to balance it out. So I think if we do that with science, we're very scientific beings. Why don't we do that with ourselves? Like
Right.
Obi said, let's test it out. If we like it, fine. The last thing we want is a totalitarian society where it's like, no, everybody, we're robots now. Let's act like robots.
Yeah, that'll be Skynet and Terminator taking over. We won't have a choice at that point.
Yeah.
Uh, it's been really great chatting with you, and I love all of the insights that you've offered. You've been very generous with your time, and for that I'm grateful. I'd like to wrap things up here on a high note. If you could offer others in a similar position as yours a piece of advice, as far as like customer acquisition and technology and all the stuff that we've talked about, what piece of advice could you offer others who are experiencing challenges in that area?
Um, Honestly, we now live in a time where it's mostly, profit margin, and, we're so profit driven that we forget even the reasons for the profit,
Mm,
right? What are you doing with all of those profits, right? Are you doing charity work? Are you creating more profit? Are you helping out? Are you giving back? I think if we remain redundant with each other, it goes a long way. Nobody is saying don't make profit. Profit is necessary. The most important thing in the world is money. Yes, everybody needs it, but when you chase it at the expense of another, I think you take away the fun of it. You take away the choice of just enjoying the moment. So be you, and make sure that whatever you do, you're not, hurting somebody else, right?
Right. I
Yeah.
always I love this idea, just to build on the point that you made. I love this idea of um it's inevitable. If you do a really good job of helping people, more people will want to be helped, and your
Yes.
profits will continue to evolve and grow with with your ability to help more people. And I think understanding the inevitability of that should allow people to focus, like what you said, more on the human element of what can we do to elevate this experience and remain human in the way that we interact with each other, even if we are a giant corporation. Because I think that that's one thing that the giant corporations are missing out on is a profit for profit's sake, and we're getting sick of it, and new
Yeah.
people are coming into power. So I hope that over time we're going to see a shift towards some of the ideologies that you've shared with us, Addy. I think you're very wise, you're very intelligent, your wisdom and insight has been very helpful for this, so thank you for that. If somebody wanted to reach out to you, to connect with you, to pick your brain maybe, or work with you in the future, is that a possibility, and if so, how would we do that?
Absolutely. And that's why I have my podcast. It's called the Captain Ape Hypothesis. It's basically, you know, trying to do the things that, like you just said, the major corporations aren't doing now. There's nothing wrong with agency. There's nothing wrong with giving back and just making sure that everyone's satisfied, right? I know it sounds very utopian style right now, but that's something that we can achieve. So you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is IM_Demo8. You can also check me out on Spotify. My podcast is called The Captain Ace Hypothesis. Yeah, you can take it from there.
Beautiful. I'll make sure to link to all that in the show notes. And if you want to get in touch with me and my team for any reason, it is nextgengrowth.com. Otherwise, that's it for this episode, and I will see you in the next.